The UK is home to thousands of myths, legends, and terrifying stories. So as you can imagine, allegedly haunted inns and hotels are abundant. Many hotels claim to be haunted, and it's difficult to know if the reported hauntings are genuine or simply generated for publicity. Located in the historic market town of Shrewsbury, the Prince Rupert Hotel is reportedly home to a host of spirits. With some of the buildings dating back to the 12th century, its timber-framed walls and oak-beamed rooms have many a tale to tell. The hotel features an original Jacobean staircase and stone-vaulted cellars dating back to 1150. It was named after Prince Rupert, the grandson of James I and the nephew of the ill-fated Charles I, who lived in the building between 1641 and 1644. In an effort to raise troops to support the Royalist cause, Prince Rupert favoured Shrewsbury whilst he was the commander of the Royalist cavalry during the English Civil War. A war that culminated with the beheading of his own uncle, Charles I, in 1649. There are many legends surrounding the hotel. Guests who stay are often unaware of the hotel's haunted history, but regularly report a range of disturbing phenomena. It is thought that the Prince Rupert suite is home to an unseen entity who regularly sits on the bed, leaving visible indentations on the bed covers. Creepier still, this has happened while people are in the bed itself. There's also the spectre of one of the hotel's maids named Martha, who has been witnessed by visitors and staff alike, wandering the stairs and landing near the Prince Rupert suite. She's also been seen inside the suite itself, going about her chores and making the bed ready for guests. When she's spotted, she looks startled and simply vanishes. Room 7 is supposedly haunted by a young gentleman who sadly took his own life many years ago. On discovering his bride-to-be had left him for his best man, the distraught man committed suicide, either through hanging or self-inflicted gunshot, ending his pain and misery. He now searches for them during the early hours, seeking revenge or maybe even a reunion. Unable to cope with the betrayal, the devastated man is seen as a pale, transparent figure looking out of the window longingly and wandering near the corridor with a look of anguish on his face. In room 6, a young woman hanged herself from the rafters when she discovered her husband had left her for another woman on her wedding night. Guests and staff have been appalled to see the woman hanging from the rafters when entering the room. Apparently, this is sometimes witnessed with alarming regularity, sometimes 2 or 3 times in a matter of months. The cellars are rife with paranormal activity. The cellar walls are integrated with the original town walls of Shrewsbury. Not all spirits are scary though. The friendly ghost of a Tudor boy named Thomas will hold the hands of nervous guests. His freezing cold hand feels entirely real. He will lead visitors to the location on the other side of the wall where there was once a pond, the location where he drowned many years ago. A more unpleasant, malevolent spirit of a man who grabs people by their necks is responsible for startling guests, leaving them with red marks and a feeling of suffocation. His invisible hands have even been felt physically unscrewing the clasps of necklaces on unsuspecting guests, leaving them terrified, rushing out of the cellars with the hair on the back of their necks standing up on end. From smugglers to murder, Suffolk has a checkered past. But the Crown Hotel seems to have guests who never want to leave. Built originally as a wool merchant's house in 1495, the Crown served as a 17th century coaching inn and is now a Grade 2 listed building. Reputedly haunted by at least 4 ghosts, strange occurrences happen on a regular basis, with guests and staff reporting strange footsteps, cries of anguish, knocking sounds, poltergeist activity, and the appearance of apparitions both inside and outside of the building itself. 2 young boys dressed in ragged Victorian clothing have been witnessed inside the main building of the hotel. One of them is often seen holding a music box. Some guests report feeling their clothing and hands being tugged, almost by a child looking for attention. Why they are haunting, nobody knows. Could they be responsible for the reports of ice-cold fingers stroking the necks of guests as they sleep in their rooms? A friendly ghost of a grey lady is seen throughout the location. She's been spotted waving goodbye to guests from a window overlooking the car park. In room 4, the grey lady has been blamed for shaking the bed whilst guests are trying to sleep, and she's also been witnessed in the courtyard. In the 1970s, Jean Fairbanks, the landlady of the Crown, reported that an unknown entity had locked her in her private room and even bolted the door. She also reported the disappearance of cleaning products that she would use to prepare the guests' rooms, as well as deliberately left trinkets and ornaments. They'd simply vanish and mysteriously reappear elsewhere in the building. Is this the work of a ghost of a former housekeeper who is rumoured to have hanged herself in the stables years ago? A large man dressed in 18th century clothing is often seen in the same vicinity in the bar, sat in what must have been his favourite seat. Wearing a long overcoat and a dark tricorn hat, his link to the Crown is unknown. Perhaps he was a regular drinker here during his lifetime. Many guests have seen him and sensed him. Renowned author and paranormal investigator Peter Underwood visited the Crown with English clairvoyant Tom Corbett and reports what happened in his book, The Ghost Hunter's Guide. At a time when Tom Corbett was not in the bar, some people entered with a large retriever dog. They walked to the bar and then across the room to a seat in the corner. Their dog followed them to the bar, and the logical thing for it to have done would have been to follow them to the seat across the centre of the room. Instead, it carefully walked as far as possible from the centre of the room, hugging the wall of the bar to the corner until it reached its owners. When Tom Corbett came back into the bar, he immediately said there was now the ghost of a man in the room, which the retriever had evidently sensed. Tom Corbett said the ghost in the bar was that of a fat and jovial man, with a great sense of humour. The ghost was that of a practical joker, harmless and friendly. After this incident, the landlord explained to Tom Corbett that a number of unexplained things had happened in the bar area. Taps on the shoulder, lights being switched on and off, packets of potato chips being flung in the air, all when nobody else could be responsible. Some believe this mischievous ghost of a man is responsible for startling the guests in the men's toilets by opening and closing the cubicle doors, and say he is responsible for throwing towels and belongings around in room 15 when the guests aren't looking.